Hello, I am Nathan, and this is Thunder Up Talk. So today I wanted to talk about Sam Presti's preseason presser that he just had yesterday. It was a long one. It was an hour and 57 minutes long. You can actually listen to it on YouTube. You can go to the Thunder's official YouTube channel and listen to it, or you can listen to it if you just want to listen to it on a podcast on one of my favorite Thunder podcasts. Well, my favorite Thunder podcasts, Down to Dunk. I think Andrew put it on there. So if you want to do some yard work, I would and listen to Sam Presti talk. I would definitely encourage you to do one of those two things. But today, I'm gonna kind of tell you some of my favorite things that I liked about the press conference. Give you some of my favorite Presti quotes. And just kind of give you the general theme and message that Sam was trying to get out. So, he started the press conference just by kind of talking about the NBA, kind of from a historical perspective, saying that the NBA has been around for 80 seasons. The Thunder are going into their 18th season. Um, and then he just starts talking directly about the Thunder. So, my favorite quote all day long was, "We have to divorce ourselves from the success of last season." And that was essentially his message that he was trying to get out. He talks about not thinking about last season, that this season is a quote unquote blank canvas, and that the focus should be on the process rather than outcomes. So he uh, he said, in order to do that, you have to have humility and discipline. Those were his two main words that he used: humility and discipline. He said that several times. And just basically the humility to start over, not think about last season, and then the discipline to continue doing those mundane things that will continue to hopefully repeat what they did last year. But again, his focus was just always talking about improvement and the mundane steps that you have to do, the process, rather than just focusing on the end outcome. So he really also, this story just really stood out to me. Sam Presti does a phenomenal job of relating to the fans and to Oklahomans. Every time he sits down for a press conference, I think he intentionally comes up with an anecdote, a story, some way to just compliment the fans and Oklahomans. And this is such a subtle difference, but to me, just goes to show you how much the Thunder mean to Oklahoma fans. So he said, outside of Oklahoma, people come and congratulate us or me, I'm sure, is what he's meaning. They come and say, "Congratulations, Sam. Congratulations to the Thunder for winning the championship." But in Oklahoma, he said, people come and say, "Thank you." They come to thank us. They don't congratulate us, they thank us. And I just thought that was a really cool story, um, because it just goes to show what the Thunder mean to Oklahomans and to all the fans. And to me, it's a big deal that he's just willing to even acknowledge that and talk about it. And again, I love that Sam does such a great job of always acknowledging Oklahomans and Oklahoma City Thunder fans. Um, so yeah, he talked probably the first 10 or 12 minutes of the press conference about all these things that I've said: humility, discipline, focusing on the process versus the outcomes. Um, and he basically said we've got the guys to do it. He also discussed how the Thunder are still the sixth youngest team in the NBA, and that the last six NBA champions didn't make it past the second round of the playoffs. So he was just kind of being very open and honest, like, hey, there's a human element to this. Uh, Teams sometimes they just can't get better. Sometimes they may be stagnant, but there's just definitely a human element, uh, and that winning a championship is really hard, and winning two in a row is almost unheard of. And so I thought he just did a really good job of just laying the groundwork. He was very he said that um, they are very confident, but they have to just focus on the little steps to get there. Some of my favorite things that he said. Oh, he talked about Oklahomans and related this to the Thunder as well. This is another. Just I know he's probably thinking of ways to just have cool quotes. Probably not, but he always does. And he said that we want to be builders, not guardians. And he related that to Oklahoma as well, kind of the idea of Oklahoma City continuing to build and got better, not necessarily guarding what was or what has been. And the same idea with the Thunder. You don't want to be a guardian of this idea of what we were last year. You want to be a builder and build on what we've done. And he said that enables the team to get better. It enables younger guys like Topage and Mitchell and other guys to contribute to the team and possibly make the team better. And you have to approach it like that, like a blank canvas. Otherwise, it can be a detriment to your team. So I just thought that was a really uh, cool way to think about where the Thunder have been, but where we can go if we do the right things. Now, he talked about Jalen Williams a little bit. He kind of looked at the wrist injury as a way to potentially expedite his development in some ways. So I'm thinking more of like, I don't know this for sure. I don't think that he said anything specifically, but I'm guessing he may be working with his offhand a lot, which could end up being a really big deal. I think that's a way that could potentially expedite his development in that kind of area. And then he also said this about Jalen Williams. He said the thing that makes Jalen Williams so unique is his engine on both ends of the court. And so I thought that was really great that he acknowledged how great J Dub is both offensively and defensively. Because one of my pet peeves in basketball and in the NBA is fans, media, and I probably do it to some extent, but just not acknowledging 50% of basketball, which is defense. Half of a basketball game is played on the defensive end of the court. It's really important. And I just don't feel like that's ever talked about or acknowledged enough. And I just like Sam Presti talking about that about Jalen Williams. Um, he talked a little bit about Chet, and he said two of my favorite quotes about Chet. He said, Chet is always ambitious, but his ambition does not bleed into an agenda. His ambition doesn't bleed into an agenda. Um, and that he has an instinctual ability to connect the team to winning. I absolutely loved that quote. That probably is my second favorite. And I think it just shows um, Chet's impact on winning. I've talked a little bit about it in the past, especially on the defensive end, because Chet, I mean, let's face it, he shot terribly throughout the playoffs. But his impact defensively is undeniable. And I just thought that was a beautiful way of saying it. He has an instinctual ability to connect the team to winning. Um, Basically Chet's a winning player, and I think it's pretty obvious now. I think we'll look back on the Thunder a decade from now, and it will be even more obvious that Chet is just a winning player. He does the winning things, um, and he's only going to get better. So that's great. He said this about Mark Daignault, which I think is one of the highest compliments a person can receive. He called him a continuous learner. And again, I think we see that with Mark in how he coaches. He never gets set in his ways. He never has uh, the same rotations over and over and over. He's willing to change. He's willing to change the starting lineup within a game. We've seen that before. A couple of times where I think he started Alex Caruso at the second half, whereas he didn't start at the beginning of the game. So I thought that was really cool. And then he just said a few other things just about the finals, which I thought was kind of neat. Um, He said hardcore basketball fans love the finals and because of the physicality and competitiveness. And I I think that's so true. Um, True basketball lovers, true hoopers, I think they did end up respecting the small market teams because good basketball was played throughout the entire series, and the only thing we got gypped about was the Halliburton injury. It's too bad that happened in Game Seven, but I thought that was cool. Again, I just love how Sam Presti thinks. I love how he talks and presents his thoughts. I know some people probably think, it's bogus. And don't get me wrong, I would love to be a fly on the wall to hear conversations between him and management or ownership, him and Mark, him and Shay. I'm sure those types of conversations are a little different. But at the end of the day, I do believe at the core, he does believe what he's saying here. Um, we have the history of him saying several things in the past, things like um, we draft the person, not just the player. That's an easy thing to roll your eyes at and be like, he's just saying that. You look at this roster, and they're almost, I mean, I think all high character guys, both on the court and off the court. So I really do believe that he believes in these things and that this is a message, like an organizational message that is going to be preached throughout the season and hopefully throughout the decade. Um, the last thing I wanted to talk about, you might be interested in this, you may not. They always end these pressers with asking Presti some books that he's recently read. So here are a few books that he said he's read recently: The Science of Hitting by Ted Williams, um, The White Album by Joan Didion, and A Sense of Where You Are by John McPhee. So if you want to be like Sam Presti and read some books that Sam reads, there you go. He did mention that he really doesn't read too many basketball or sports books anymore. He said that's kind of been a change. He said he used to a lot when he was younger, but that's kind of changed throughout just his life. So that's basically all I've got. That boils down kind of what I wanted to say, what I got out of St. Presti's um, preseason presser. And again, we're just so blessed to have him as a GM. Not all GMs, very few, I think, do these types of press conferences, let alone for 2 hours, where he allows the media to just ask question after question after question for 2 hours. So, man, Thunder fans, we're just blessed. So, with that, I will talk to you later. Thunder up.